Testing, testing.
Yes, I've got the script. I've got my notes. My fly is down. It's all good. It's been. Come into our house of hope and love, of peace and justice, of wholeness and healing. Come on in, where we welcome the certain and the seeking, the long-timers and the newcomers, the beloved and the brokenhearted. All of you can find a home here at Throop, where we go live the world from the heart of Pasadena and from the heart of our homes. We're so glad to welcome our friends joining us on live stream this morning. This Sunday, we are entering into our February worship theme, Drawn into Love. And today in particular, we are going to be drawn into the rain. We are intentionally welcoming back the rains and the gifts they bring to our watershed, the Arroyo Seco, and of course the gifts that they bring to our lives. Amy in the back of the sanctuary has a bowl in her hands and it contains rainwater, and she's bringing it gently down the aisle. And if any of you would like to touch a little bit of the water, let it offer a blessing onto you this morning, please do that. If you're new to Throop, we would love to stay in touch with you. You can fill out the info card that you'll find in the pew back in front of you. You can hand it in a little bit later in the worship service. And each one of us is a light in the world, and the flame from our chalice symbolizes and reflects that light.
Our time together in worship is intimately connected with our daily lives. As a symbol of that connection, we light our chalice with a flame from our candles of hope and witness. The winter rain, when it first arrives, surprises and brings a sense of wonder, Our lives are too often parched. We long to be drenched in care, in love, and certainty. May these rains bring us hope and wash away sorrow or despair. We light a second candle in honor of the people and ancestors whose lands we now occupy. The land under and around Throop is the unceded land of the Gabrielino Tongva Band of Mission Indian people. May this knowledge and awareness lead us into dismantling systems of supremacies and oppressions. We light a third candle symbolizing our watershed, the Arroyo Seco. May their waters continue to nourish life in our communities. We take a moment of silence, holding all these in our hearts.
And we welcome one another. We welcome the rain with our opening hymn. Come sing a song with me. It's number 346. And I invite you all to rise and spirit allow, number 346.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Come turn to a neighbor and welcome them into this rainy day worship. walk and reign with me. Come walk and reign with me.
Come walk and reign with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when home is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when home is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
The winter rains soak into our earth, swelling our streams and filling our waterfalls. We humans try our best to manage this flow of water, but it just gets away from us no matter how hard we try. Hans knows that all too well when it comes to our beautiful building and the way the rainwater sometimes moves through it in ways we don't anticipate or, frankly, appreciate. The winter rains don't arrive all alone. They bring with them cooler temperatures and high winds. They bring a power that can be disruptive and destructive. And yet, we need the rain to survive. May each drop of water nourish the abundant life out there in our Throop learning garden. May it nourish the abundant life that is the watershed in which we reside. And may it replenish our own spirits as the rains come and perhaps send us indoors, maybe with a little bit more time for rest and reflection. If you're not familiar, we have some of the native plants that are found in the watershed right out in our Throop Learning Garden. Some of those plants that will be nourished by the rains, and we have a few of them on the back table. Things like California buckwheat and white sage and toyon. It's so fragrant. And after worship today, I just encourage you on your way out, on your way into coffee and conversation, to take a minute and to touch those leaves and to smell their fragrance and offer a bit of gratitude for the life that they sustain. We hold in our hearts the hope that all that are involved in whatever emergency is going on, that they have the help they need. Each week, we voice our shared commitment to our planet, Earth. We ask that it heal. We ask that we bring our own sense of peace to it. And today, as we share the words to our promise to our planet, they're in your order of worship. Hold in your heart and mind some specific plant out there that is eagerly waiting to soak up all the rain. As members of the family of living beings on earth, we are guided by the Unitarian Universalist principle of respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part, with hearts filled with love for it, eyes nurtured by its beauty, and minds ruminating on ways to protect its sacred and scarce resources. We promise to nurture the well-being of all life and of the planet itself. And helping us nurture our spiritual life today, we have a special guest in worship. It is Amy Brunel, a seminarian at Star King School for the Ministry. Amy is a longtime Unitarian Universalist. She loves this faith so much. She has dedicated so much of her life to it. Some of you have met Amy up at our UU Camp de Benneville Pines. And Amy is a singer and actor. She is a workshop leader and a speaker. We're so honored and happy to have you with us today, Amy. And she'll be leading us in our responsive reading. And the congregation's response this morning is, may we be drawn into love, compassion, and justice. Let's say that together. May we be drawn into love, compassion, and justice.
Good morning. May our ears hear what nobody wants to hear. May our eyes see what everyone wants to hide.
May we be drawn into love, compassion, and justice.
May our mouths speak our true faces and hearts. May our arms be branches and give shade and joy.
May we be drawn into love, compassion, and justice.
Let us be a drizzle of a sudden story. Let us get wet in the rain.
May we be drawn into love, compassion, and justice.
Let us be the key, the hand on the door that kicked the ball down the road. Let us arrive as children to this huge playground, this universe.
May we be drawn into love, compassion, and justice. Thank you, Amy. And this morning, our Throop players share a story with us. It is called The Keeper of the Rain.
Once upon a time, in a place not so very different from here, lived the keeper of the rain. Each day, the keeper of the rain carefully watched the creatures and plants. When they began to droop with thirst, she whispered the word that brings the rain, and they stood tall again. Each day, the keeper of the rain listened to the rivers and streams. When they swelled to a roar, she whispered the word that sends the rain away, and the waters were quiet again. After many such days, more than you or I could count, the keeper of the rain was weary. She was tired of always watching, always listening, always paying attention to other things and beings. A new keeper of the rain had been born, but he was still a boy. It would be years before he was ready to take over.
I can't wait years.
She went to find the boy. She heard splashing coming from the pond. She peered through the cattails and saw him standing knee-deep in the water. The boy bent over and plunged his hands to the bottom of the pond. He stood up with an armload of muck and a wriggling crayfish.
He is young, but then again, so was I.
She walked through the cattails and into the water. She bent down for a few minutes, whispered in the boy's ear. When she was done, she stood up, smiled for the first time in ages, and walked away. The boy watched her for a few minutes until the crayfish wriggled loose and plopped into the pond. He bent in search of the creature and forgot all about the keeper and what she had told him. The boy splashed and played in the water until his lips turned blue and quivered. Then he tromped up through the sand and grass to his favorite sun-warmed rock. It was low and flat, as ancient as the rain. He lay basking in the sun, listening to the peeping frogs.
Ribbit.
Ribbit.
And telling the rock his stories of muck and cattails and crayfish. The rock listened and laughed in that low, rumbling way of rocks. The next day, the boy splashed and played in the water until his lips turned blue and quivered. Then he tromped up through the sand and grass to the sun-warmed rock. The boy lay basking in the sun, listening to the peeping frogs.
Ribbit.
Ribbit.
Telling his stories, then all of a sudden the sky drew dark. The air became cool. A cold, wet raindrop fell on his back.
I don't like rain.
But more cold raindrops fell. Then he remembered the keeper and what she told him. He spoke the word that sends the rain away. The raindrops stopped, the sun reappeared, the boy lay back down on the rock. Each day after that, the boy splashed and played in the water until his lips turned blue and quivered. Then he tromped up through the sand and grass to the sun-warmed rock. The boy lay basking in the sun, listening to the peeping frogs.
Ribbit.
Ribbit.
Telling his stories, if raindrops came, he simply whispered them away. Many such days passed as the boy lay basking in the sun, the rock asked.
Have you noticed the trees and plants are turning yellow?
The boy sat up and looked.
I like the color yellow.
They need rain.
I don't like rain.
I know.
Many more such days passed as the boy lay basking in the sun, the rock asked.
Have you noticed the trees and plants are turning brown?
The boy sat up and looked.
I like brown.
They need rain.
I don't like rain.
I know.
Many more such days passed, and as the boy lay basking in the sun, the rock asked.
Have you noticed you have to walk farther to get to your pond?
The boy sat up and looked.
Who moved my pond?
No one. The pond is shrinking. It needs rain.
The boy sat and listened.
It's too quiet. The frogs aren't peeping.
Frogs cannot live without rain. Nothing can.
The boy felt a heaviness in his chest. He had no words to whisper it away. He felt the warm sun on his back that felt so good, and the weight in his chest that felt awful. Finally, he whispered the word that brings the rain. Cold, wet drops fell on his back. But the boy let the rain fall and fall and fall. And when he heard the rivers and streams swell to a roar, He whispered the word that sends the rain away.
I still don't like the rain, but I love my pond.
I know. I know.
Rain gives life. Rain threatens life. And rain blesses life. Our rainy season is just beginning in Pasadena. At least we hope this is the beginning. The rain will soon start falling. My phone promises me it's going to come right around noon. And some of you said on your way in today, you already felt a few of the first drops. As a way for us to welcome back the rain, we are going to bring the sound of rain in here. We are going to become the rain. And we're being led in this by Malcolm and Amy and some of our choir members.
I'm gonna have to hang back here because there's a microphone. Hi, all. So I'm going to be walking amongst you in a minute. And choir, would you mind dispersing throughout the congregation? Give them a hand with this. You're going to see me walk through with a couple of hand signs. And for each of those hand signs, I would like you to try to do a bit of what we call body percussion, okay? So our first hand sign is going to look like a rock. And I would like you to gently rub your thighs, make a brushing sound. Excellent. So that's our first symbol. Our second symbol is going to be pointing upwards. And I would like you to snap your fingers. Beautiful. And our third symbol, I'm going to hold my hand horizontal. And I would like you to tap your thighs. Give them a good smack. And our fourth, our last symbol is going to be a thumbs down. And I would like you to stomp your feet gently on the floor. Excellent. Let's practice that together. So our first symbol, we're going to do what? We're going to rub our thighs. Yeah. Our pointing up symbol, we're going to snap. And our level symbol, we are going to pat our thighs. And our thumbs down. Excellent. Excellent.
As the rains continue to fall in Pasadena, hopefully not for real in our sanctuary, as those rains continue to fall, the drops are filling up the arroyo. And we had some of that rainwater in the back. Some of you touched it on the way in, and some of you maybe touched it when Amy was bringing it down the aisle. And I'm just curious, when your fingers or when the water touched your wrist, I'm wondering if it brought any feelings up in you or any memories in you of other experiences of the rain. George? Ooh, George hiked up and down Echo Mountain in the rain. What a journey that must have been. Jean? Oh. So Jean says that she was on that same trail at one point, and when she got up to the very top of it, there were clouds that were actually beneath her. And as she looked out and saw that view across the San Gabriel Valley, that it looked like cotton all around. And she also wanted to note that on her descent, that the moisture from all those clouds got her hair really wet. Any other senses or memories that the touching the water this morning brought up in you? So many of us know the Arroyo Seco, which is that stream that flows through Pasadena and Northeast LA. So many of us know it as this little trickle of water that is bound by a concrete channel. And some of you today talked about just moving here from somewhere else. I too moved here from somewhere else, and I was so curious and confused about moving into a place that put concrete around it. Seemed like almost any body of water that humans could find. What is this? Didn't they know the beauty of letting streams run wild? Yeah, but you know, the arroyo, it starts way up in the mountains. Does anybody know where the headwaters of the arroyo are? I had to look it up on the internet. It's near Mount Wilson, and the arroyo travels then, comes down by the Rose Bowl, where it's shaded by native oaks, and in the spring you can see the wildflowers peeking up through dappled sunlight. And then, of course, it makes its way down into the lower arroyo, and that's where it meets its fate with all of that concrete. On the fourth Sunday of this month, we're going to hear from some people from Arroyo Seco Foundation, and we'll be sharing our Sunday offering with them that day. But I was thinking sometimes our spiritual lives resemble that concrete channel. We feel like something is holding us back. It's preventing some essential part of us from emerging, and we don't feel connected to whatever it is we name as sacred. And we wonder, how do we tend to our spirits at that time? How do we reopen our connection with the divine? How do we reignite our sacred spark? This morning, our altar holds items that symbolize renewal. One is that bowl of rainwater, and the other are several containers that hold spring bulbs in them. What aches in you to be renewed right now? Are you longing for time for yourself? Are you aching for a little bit more rest? Are you wishing that someone else was carrying the burden of all the caretaking you're doing? Do you wish you had more time for prayer or movement or just the ability to engage in the wider world? Take a few breaths together and identify and connect in with whatever it is in you that longs to be renewed in this season. As a way to bless and honor that part of your spiritual life, that part of you that is ready for renewal, we invite you to come forward to the altar. and to take a drop of the rainwater and to gently pour it in one of the containers. And as you do so, you bless your intention for renewal, and you offer sustenance to a spring bulb. Over the next few weeks, we will watch these bulbs grow and flower, and we hope that your hearts and spirits grow and bloom right along with them. May the winter rains land on dry seeds of our earth and on the parched surface of our spirits. Through the rains, may we be blessed and renewed. And each week, our children engage in Kids Dig In. I'd like to thank today's leaders, Faith and Jamal. We sing them into their program, and those words are in your order of worship.
For you shall go out in joy, for you shall go out in joy, and come back in peace, and come back in peace. For you shall go out in joy, for you shall go out in joy, and come back in peace, and come back in peace. Blessed be.
This is a Rain Retreat by Ida Malenki. The squish, squish of rain in sandals in the mud. The silence of rain. The glistening drops on pine needles and on the tips of noses. The earth's fragrance before rain, during more rain, and after rain. The mouth-wide, tongue-out taste of rain. The taste and crunch of rain in lettuce. The cool of rain, the smooth of rain, the slipperiness of rain. The mindful balance of rain in rain. The rain turned fog. May it be my winding sheet to disappear in rain, rain, rain and rain and more rain, nothing to attain.
In time of silver rain, the earth puts forth new life again. Green grasses grow and flowers lift their heads, and over all the plain the wonder spreads of life, of life, of life. In time of silver rain, the butterflies lift silken wings, and grasses grow, and new leaves sing in joy beneath the sky. In time of silver rain, when spring and life are new.
This church is ours through every season of our lives, and you all support it in so many ways through your gifts of time and talent and treasure. For those of you able to make a financial gift today, we thank you. You can make that gift online. The ways to do that are in the order of worship. You can offer a gift here in the room. And if you're giving cash and want it noted to you, we ask that you put it in a green envelope and place your name on it. Thank you for all the ways you support our life together. The morning offering will be gratefully received.
Something seen on vale or hill falls familiar on the heart. Dew and rain fall everywhere, harvests ripe and flowers are fair, and the whole round earth is bare to the sunshine and the sun. And the live air fanned with wings, bright with breezes, sunshine brings into contact distant things, and makes all countries one.
And in a spirit of gratitude, we lift up all of those actively supporting the worship service this morning. We thank Brad, who is running our live stream, Amy and Rachel for being our worship associates today, Jacqueline and Maggie for offering the chalice lighting words, Rachel, who created this stunning altarscape for this month, Jamal, who is leading the children's program today, Winnie and Tom, our ushers and greeters, Throop players, that was Dave and Taryn, Clara, Ripley, and Amy. And we also thank Tom for Coffee and Conversation host, of course, Malcolm for finding all of this beautiful rain-centric music today, choir for helping to lead us in becoming the rain, and finally, Fillory for all of your administrative support. Let's join in that spirit of gratitude, and we say together the response to the offering. Those words are in the order of worship. For the ministries of our church and our community, we bless our offering with love and hope. And holding that sense of gratitude in our hearts, we turn to our centering hymn, Voice Still and Small, number 391. And we sing it gently together.
Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, sing. In dark and rain, sorrow and pain, still you remain, singing. Calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years, singing. Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing. In dark and rain, sorrow and pain, still you remain, singing. Calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years, singing.
And take a gentle breath in and exhale. And take a breath in together and exhale. That voice still and small inside of us, soothing, and guiding and sometimes singing oh so gently to us, reminding us that life and love and our earth is going to be okay. Holding space in this room for the still small voice that moves inside each of us. We sink into a few breaths and a few moments of shared stillness, reflecting on the ways we are connected with one another, with what we know as sacred, and with our earth. And for all that is our life, we give our thanks and praise. Amen.
Hear how the wind begins to whisper. Hear how the leaves go streaming by. Smell how the velvet rain is falling out where the fields are warm and dry. Now is the time to run and hide and stay. Now is the time to find a hideaway where we can stay. Soon it's gonna rain, I can see it. Soon it's gonna rain, I can tell. And we're gonna rain, what are we gonna do? Soon it's gonna rain, I can feel it. Soon it's gonna rain, I can tell. And we'll let it rain, what'll we do with you? We'll find 4 limbs of a tree, we'll build 4 walls and a floor, we'll bind it over with leaves and duck inside to stay. Then we'll let it rain, we'll not feel it. Then we'll let it rain, rain pell-mell. And we'll not complain if it never stops at all. We'll live and love within our own 4 walls.
When we scheduled to have a Welcome Back the Rains service here on February 4th, we had no idea that the universe was going to be listening and was going to send us an atmospheric river. Either this is a divine coincidence, or my friends, you are more powerful than you even realize. Which one do you think it is? These drops of rain that fall at the headwaters of the arroyo, they start way up high, right around 5,700 feet. And I imagine that raindrop falling and finding itself up there today, probably surrounded by some snow way up there. I saw it on the way into church this morning. And then the raindrops travel downstream, moving pretty quickly through the San Gabriel Mountains until they slow down at Devil's Gate Dam. And then, like I mentioned earlier, they probably, when they get to that concrete channel in the lower arroyo, they're like, why? How did I end up here? I want to go back up there. Where are the shady oaks? Where are the wildflowers? What is going on? Today, when we think about the land and borders and structures that shape our cities and towns, what are some notable ones right around here in Pasadena? Thank you. Dre says the 210. Oh, yes, in so many ways. How about some other ones? The Rose Bowl. And Kate, I saw you smiling. You volunteer at one of them. Yeah, Caltech. How about some others? Well, Throop Church, hello. We've been here since when? That's right, 100 years. And we have school districts, city council districts, so many freeways. Some of them we fund, like community institutions. Some of them we fight over, like political boundaries. And some of them we may long to enter into, like school district borders. They shape us. They shape our communities. And many of these are ever present in our lives. And our watershed, the Arroyo Seco, it shapes our community just as surely as these other boundaries. But often its characteristics are invisible to us. They're not ones that at least I really think about on a daily basis. Our Arroyo watershed was once known as the land of flowing waters, a fruitful valley. This is how the original inhabitants of this land, the Gabrielino Tongva Band of Mission Indian people, that's how they referred to this region in between the Los Angeles River and the San Gabriel River. Hahamanga was their name for it, which means the land of flowing waters, a fruitful valley. And our area with rich soil and natural streams has long drawn people into it. For many of us living in Pasadena or LA, though, our sense of place comes from freeways or from area codes. We often describe our homes as the nearest freeway exit. I assure people, I am only a few short car minutes from either the 110 or the 134 freeway. Living along the 210 that snakes up through the mountains versus the 405 stretch that Amy knows probably only too well, yes. These evoke a sense of place and personality. Or if you have a 310 or an 818 or a 213 or a 626, hello, area code. I mean, I hear that some people really try to get these like special area code numbers because it says something we think about who we are, what we believe, what we like. We come into this watershed, though, this land of flowing waters, a fruitful valley, at a moment where the very creation we love and find so much inspiration from, a time when it is in crisis. And as people of faith, this is the time now for you and me to choose. We must choose between denying the peril that our earth is in versus being a people who put deepening ecological consciousness right at the heart of what we do, along with that center, that ethic of love that we hold as Unitarian Universalist. I know that when we start thinking about ways to slow climate change, when we really start studying what's going on, when we read those reports in the newspaper, oh my gosh, it can feel really overwhelming. Like, we're just one little raindrop here, and we're moving upstream. I I cannot possibly use enough reusable bags. I cannot possibly take enough reusable containers with me to stop the significant carbon emissions that are destroying our planet. I feel like I'm just this tiny little drop. But I wonder, what if you and me right here today, what if we decided that, you know what, we're not going to think of ourselves as a tiny little drop anymore. We're just not. No. We're not going to think of ourselves as consumers that are defined by freeways or by area codes. What if we decided instead that we're going to identify ourselves with this watershed, the Arroyo Seco, which nourishes all life in our area? How might that change how we think about ourselves and how we counter this climate crisis that we're in? Would we understand ourselves more like a drizzle connected with the rest of all life? What would it be like if instead of me saying, oh, I live just a couple of minutes off the 110, if I introduced myself and said, hi, I'm Tara. I am honored to live within the contours of the Arroyo Seco watershed. Or what if you said, yeah, I'm part of the Tahunga Wash watershed or the Verdugo Wash. I love a phrase that is attributed to a Senegalese environmentalist. They wrote, we won't save places we don't love. We can't love places we don't know. And we don't know places we have not learned. This month is our last in the winter season of rest and dormancy. And from now until we welcome our spring season on March 3rd, I'm asking you all to join me on a journey of learning more about the watershed in which you reside. I'd like you to start by just learning the name. What's your watershed? And then to discover its boundaries. What's its shape? Where does it start? How far out do its waters reach? Where do they end up? And then I'd like you during these next few weeks to just try on imagining that you're in kinship with this watershed. I know that might be a little bit of a stretch because we can't necessarily put our arms around the watershed. You know, it's big, but we can put our arms around or touch or look at or smell some parts of it. And I'd like you to imagine, just like you would with a new friend, with this watershed, to just wonder, ask it, what's your story? What are you about? What are your hopes and dreams? And to include it in your prayers and in your blessings, in your journaling. When we have a friend in need, what do? We show up. We look at them and we say, I'm here. How can I help? And it feels really good when we do that. It doesn't feel like a burden because we want to be there for our friend. And the more we understand ourselves in relationship with all creation, any action or behavior or practice we take up on behalf of our earth, it's going to feel like reaching out to that friend and giving them a hug. All of us reaching out together to hug our various watersheds, we become not just a drop or a drizzle, we become a downpour of love, compassion, and justice, replenishing all. I invite you all to come with me and let's get wet in the rain. We sing our closing hymn, There is a River Flowing in My Soul, number 1007 in the teal hymnal. Please rise and sing as body and spirit allow, number 1007.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my heart. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing. There's a river flowing. There's a river flowing in my soul. Place a hand on your heart. Reach out to someone in the room or on the live stream. Our chalice is extinguished. We carry its light with us. May you go into the week knowing that you are not a drop, not a drizzle. You are part of a downpour of love, compassion, and justice. I love you all. Go out and love the world. Amen, and blessed be. Someone told me long ago, there's a calm before the storm. I know it's been coming for some time. When it's over, so they say, it'll rain on a sunny day. I know, shining down like water. I want to know, have you ever seen the rain? I want to know, have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day? because it's like the key totally changes. Yeah, da, da, da.